Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Ibrahima Konate's true wage at Liverpool revealed as David Ornstein explains latest on contract talks. Liverpool have been trying to tie Ibrahima Konate down to a new deal with interest mounting from Spain. The French centre-back has been with the club for 4 years now and has not signed an extension to stay with the club past his contract's end date in the summer of 2026. There has been concern from Liverpool fans that with Real Madrid seeking to sign the 26-year-old on a free next year, like they did with Trent Alexander-Arnold, it has affected his performances on the pitch. However, according to many reports, nothing has been agreed with either the Merseyside club or Madrid since the last transfer window. David Ornstein says Ibrahima Konate earns double £70,000 a week. It is a difficult situation for the club, given that they will have to balance the amount they have spent in the last window and how much they already pay some of their top stars like Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. Now David Ornstein has issued a fresh update on the contract situation of the star before Arnslot's side face Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. The journalist revealed in the update that no contracts have been rejected by Konate, but has also explained that reports on his wages being in the £70,000 region are inaccurate. Speaking to NBC Sports, Ornstein said, "On Konate, that's a really interesting topic because there have been reports he's rejected a new contract. Of course, he's into his final 12 months. I don't think it's so much a rejection. Maybe more of a stalemate or a lack of an agreement basically. But I'm told talks are active. They're ongoing, but nothing is close just yet. Suggestions, he's on around £70,000 a week. I'm told it's more than double that. So, he would want a really good contract. Deservedly, you could say, going into the highest brackets of earners, but that's something they need to sort out. It could be affecting the team. It is not a dissimilar situation to that of Sadio Mane or Luis Diaz in the sense that they wanted to be in line with the top 2 club earners, so the club could show how much they were worth to the team. Ibrahima Konate needs to prove why Liverpool should keep him. However, the number 5 this season has struggled with his form, and while he is clearly a world-class talent, at the moment, he seems far away from the defender who Liverpool fans have begun to adore. If the club's hierarchy were to ward off Madrid with a fresh contract extension, it would be a real show of strength, but given the talk around different options being explored, such as Dayot Upamecano or Marc Guéhi, Konate will need to improve quickly. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our second news is Liverpool pushing to sign Palace centre-back Maxence Lacroix. Liverpool are now eyeing a possible swoop to sign Crystal Palace centre-back Maxence Lacroix after missing out on Marc Guéhi in the summer, as per Football Insider. Arne Slot's men have endured a shaky start to the campaign, with defensive frailties a recurring theme. A 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace last weekend added to their troubles, while they also shipped 2 goals apiece against Bournemouth, Newcastle and Atletico Madrid. Liverpool pushing to sign Palace centre-back Maxence Lacroix XB Max Akpen October 4, 2025. Maxence Lacroix. Liverpool are now eyeing a possible swoop to sign Crystal Palace centre-back Maxence Lacroix after missing out on Marc Guéhi in the summer, as per Football Insider. Arne Slot's men have endured a shaky start to the campaign, with defensive frailties a recurring theme. A 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace last weekend added to their troubles, while they also shipped 2 goals apiece against Bournemouth, Newcastle and Atletico Madrid. Advertisement. Liverpool were strongly linked with a late swoop for Marc Guéhi in the summer, but a move collapsed on deadline day as Palace failed to secure a replacement. With no intention from Palace to sanction their captain's departure mid-season, the Reds have now shifted their focus to Guéhi's defensive partner, Lacroix, who has emerged as one of the standout centre-backs in the Premier League this term. As per Football Insider, while there are doubts that Guéhi would eventually make the switch to Anfield next summer due to increased competition for his signature, Liverpool have now turned their attention to alternative centre-back targets, with Lacroix high on their list. The report adds that the 25-year-old's performances for the Eagles in recent weeks have piqued the attention of the Reds' recruitment team, who have described him as a Rolls-Royce centre-back, Rolls-Royce defender. The Merseyside club are now pushing to secure his transfer in the summer, with the club believing he could be an ideal partner to Virgil van Dijk next season, following his strong performances this campaign, as per the report. Virgil van Dijk, who will turn 35 next summer, isn't at his athletic best. Liverpool have also reportedly been in talks to extend the contract of Ibrahima Konate, with no progress recorded so far. Joe Gomez, on the other hand, has struggled with form. The long-term injury to young centre-back Giovanni Leone, who suffered an anterior cruciate ligament injury on his debut against Southampton in the Carabao Cup, makes a move for a new centre-back all the more important. Lacroix fits the bill with his qualities on the ball, tackling, aerial dominance, sharp interceptions, and speed in stopping opposition transitions. With his contract at Selhurst Park running until 2029, it remains to be seen whether the Reds will table an offer, with Palace likely to demand more than his £21 million transfer. Our third news is Liverpool star may now regret summer move after 4.5 rating. One Liverpool star may now regret his summer move after struggling badly with his new club. A 4.5/10 is just the start. Kostas Tsimikas was always unlikely to remain at Liverpool beyond this summer. Or at least, remain a part of the first-team squad. The Reds signed Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth to be their new starting left-back, meaning Andy Robertson pretty much held Tsimikas' future in his own hands. If the Scot had disappeared, Liverpool likely held on to Tsimikas as backup. But Robertson opted to stick with Liverpool for at least one more year. That left his Greek counterpart surplus to requirements and a move was sought. However, Tsimikas opted not to leave permanently. He rejected opportunities to do so and instead signed for AS Roma on loan. It was a very good loan move for him, admittedly. A big club in a new league willing to give him consistent minutes. At least, that was the plan. Kostas Tsimikas struggles. Tsimikas has played just 42 minutes of Serie A football so far this season. That's been split across 2 substitute appearances in the Italian top flight. Roma just aren't handing him chances to play. And when they do, as against Lille this week, Tsimikas struggles. He gave the ball away for Lille's winner in the UEFA Europa League and was hooked at halftime. Calciomercato labeled him very poor, while Sport Witness relay Corriere dello Sport's rating of 4.5 out of 10. This would be something of a disaster for Tsimikas, who risks tanking his value here. He was in dire need of regular football after 5 years of playing second fiddle at Anfield, but Roma are now incredibly reluctant to give him that. And if he doesn't get it, Tsimikas will return to Anfield with an even more difficult task of finding a new club in 2026. It's still relatively early days, of course, but so far this loan move is looking like a disaster. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our fourth news is Emile Heskey says striker Liverpool sold was the best finisher of his entire generation. Liverpool have had their fair share of world-class strikers over the years. Players such as Emile Heskey, Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez have all been deemed as some of the best strikers in football's history. Of course, everyone will have different opinions, but one thing that can't be denied is that without these sorts of players leading the Reds line, they'd be nowhere near as good as they have been over the years. Times change, and players want to try new challenges, which results in some choosing to leave Anfield before their time. However, there have been times when the Reds have sanctioned the exits of players who most fans wanted to keep around, with Heskey now saying that one of the best strikers of his generation was sold by Liverpool. Emile Heskey says Michael Owen was one of the best strikers of his generation. At the moment, it feels like Liverpool have 2 world-class number 9s leading their attacking line in Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. Both players have been rotating with one another since they arrived at Anfield in the summer, and now that Isak is getting to full fitness, there's likely to be a weekly competition between the two to see who starts. At the moment, Ekitike looks to be the better option to lead the Reds' attacking line, but, after the international break, Isak will no doubt want to come back with a bang. In the past, Liverpool have faced a similar sort of problem to this, with Heskey now admitting that Michael Owen was his generation's best finisher. This was confirmed after Heskey was asked to stay silent until he heard a striker who was better than him, with the former Liverpool man only breaking his silence for Owen. "Michael is probably the best of our generation," he said to Sky Sports TikTok. Liverpool strikers have always had a major part to play in how competitive they are. One of the key areas of Liverpool's team over the years has been their strike force. As mentioned, most of the Reds' best ever players have been strikers, with Suarez and Daniel Sturridge managing to form one of the Anfield outfit's most iconic partnerships in recent memory. This season, things are no different, with Isak and Ekitike both deserving of a starting spot in Slot's team. Of course, others such as Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah will also be expected to chip in, but the fact that over £180 million has been spent on 2 new number 9s this summer means they have to deliver. At the moment, it's anyone's guess how the 2025-26 season will pan out, but at the moment, things are going swimmingly in L4. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our fifth news is Liverpool have had interest in signing €42M rated Newcastle United star for problem position. Liverpool have reportedly had an interest in Newcastle United centre-back Sven Botman in recent months, but without making contact over a move. The Reds might have to look again at their defence this January, though, with the long-term injury to youngster Giovanni Leone looking like a big blow. Arne Slot's side are already conceding a lot of goals at the start of this season, and it seems these factors have led Liverpool to consider entering the market for a defender this winter. That's according to TalkSport, who named Newcastle's Botman as one name that came up on Liverpool's radar in the summer. Though they never made a move for him, Botman has been a key player for Newcastle, and TalkSport claim that they don't plan to let the 25-year-old Dutchman leave. If Botman were to move, one imagines he would not be cheap, with Transfermarkt putting his value at €42 million at the moment, meaning the Magpies would likely ask for quite a lot more than that. LFC notably signed Alexander Isak from NUFC in the summer, and it remains to be seen if the two clubs could do business again so soon. The Isak saga wasn't exactly pretty at times, but at the end of the day Liverpool got their man, and if they decide Botman would be worthwhile as well, then this could get interesting. Still, the report also mentions a few other names that could come into consideration for the Merseyside Giants. Botman could be a standout option, though, after his fine form at St James Park, so it would make sense if Newcastle soon faced a struggle to keep hold of this very fine and accomplished central defender. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our last news is Dayot Upamecano theory floated as Liverpool interest in Bayern Munich centre-back confirmed. Liverpool are likely to delve into the market for a new centre-back next summer. It's clear that the Anfield outfit wanted to bring another defender this term, with Mark Guéhi's transfer from Crystal Palace falling through at the last minute. The Englishman would have been the answer to all of Liverpool's problems this term, with Ibrahima Konate performing well below his usual standards. However, since the defender hasn't yet extended his Liverpool contract, which is due to expire at the end of the 2025-26 season, questions are being asked about whether the former RB Leipzig man's future lies at Anfield. Several players have been linked with a Liverpool switch this term, with Bild reporter Christian Falk now confirming that the Reds have shown an interest in Konate's former teammate. Christian Falk believes that Dayot Upamecano hasn't extended his Bayern Munich contract due to money issues. One thing that has been made clear this summer is that top-level players are now demanding serious money for their services. In fact, some are even intentionally running down their contracts so that they can earn themselves a nice signing-on fee rather than having a big money transfer fee hanging over their heads. This summer, several players' contracts are running out, with Konate, Upamecano, and Guéhi just 3 players who could leave their clubs for nothing this summer. With this in mind, it doesn't come as a surprise to see Liverpool exploring their options on the transfer market. And, speaking via the Bild podcast, Falk gave an insight into what's happening with Upamecano's future at the moment. Upamecano still hasn't signed, and our theory is that the extension for Upamecano is down to money, he said. That's true, and you have to say, things are really starting to get difficult. We reported Liverpool's interest in the last episode. That's been confirmed again now. I also know PSG is interested, Real Madrid is interested, United is interested. Therefore, extending is Bayern's top priority, but they simply don't want to agree on the price. Liverpool have a fair few decisions to make as we get closer to the January transfer window. Seeing as though Giovanni Leone is now confirmed to be out for at least a year, it's clear that the Reds are short at centre-back. Due to the Italian's injury, Slot now only has 3 senior centre-back options to choose from, but with the form that Konate and Joe Gomez are in at the moment, it feels like Virgil van Dijk is the only one. As the January transfer window edges closer, the likelihood of Liverpool signing a new centre-back feels like it's growing, that is, especially if their defensive line can't manage to turn things around over the next month or so. At the moment, it's unclear what will happen over the next few months, but even though Liverpool don't want to sign Guéhi in January, plan. Our fifth news is Liverpool have had interest in signing Euro 42M, rated Newcastle United star for problem position. Liverpool have reportedly had an interest in Newcastle United centre-back Sven Botman in recent months, but without making contact over a move. The Reds might have to look again at their defence this January, though, with the long-term injury to youngster Giovanni Leone looking like a big blow. Arne Slot's side are already conceding a lot of goals at the start of this season, and it seems these factors have led Liverpool to consider entering the market for a defender this winter. That's according to TalkSport, who named Newcastle's Botman as one name that came up on Liverpool's radar in the summer. Though they never made a move for him, Botman has been a key player for Newcastle, and TalkSport claim that they don't plan to let the 25-year-old Dutchman leave. If Botman were to move, one imagines he would not be cheap, with Transfermarkt putting his value at €42 million at the moment, meaning the Magpies would likely ask for quite a lot more than that. LFC notably signed Alexander Isak from NUFC in the summer, and it remains to be seen if the two clubs could do business again so soon. The Isak saga wasn't exactly pretty at times, but at the end of the day Liverpool got their man, and if they decide Botman would be worthwhile as well, then this could get interesting. Still, the report also mentions a few other names that could come into consideration for the Merseyside Giants. Botman could be a standout option, though, after his fine form at St James Park, so it would make sense if Newcastle soon faced a struggle to keep hold of this very fine and accomplished central defender. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Can change, and at the moment, that feels like the best thing for them to do. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.